So I think I have a pretty cool idea for a simulation. Let me tell you about my idea. Houdini 20.5 came out with a whole bunch of new features, one of them being the new MPM solver, and I love this one. It can do a whole bunch of super crazy cool things. One of the super cool things is it comes pre-packaged with these configure nodes. If you type in MPM configure, you get a whole bunch of little mini scenes that it'll create for you. And one of them is this landslide preset. Now, I'm no VFX guy, but this landslide preset kind of tickled my fancy and it got me pretty excited. I really liked how it looked just by default. You put it down, hit play, and you get something pretty cool. But that's where my idea came in. What if we try and make this even a little bit cooler and add a little bit of customization to this? So instead of just it all falling down at the same time, what if we run a MOPS fall off through this and we kind of let it cascade over time, creating a super cool VFX, you know, like beautiful simulation, landslide, grass, just something magnificent. Okay, so that actually doesn't look so bad, and we can quickly throw in some lights and a little bit of grass and see what it looks like rendered. I'm not gonna lie, I actually really like this. I think it's looking pretty cool. Maybe this is my ticket into Disney. I still feel like this scene is missing something. If you look at those crazy movie effects, there's always a lot going on. Well, I want a lot going on in mine, and so I'm going to add a single tree. So maybe not a lot, but a single tree. It's kind of like the hero, the focus, and if we can get this to be integrated into the scene, that as the landslide falls down, the tree falls down, we get a whole lot of interaction, your eyes focused on something, I think this is gonna look epic. And I think this will be simple to do. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the simple tree tools. It's the tool I use whenever I'm making trees in Houdini. It's super fun to play with, super easy to make super cool trees. And so I'm going to make a super realistic tree. Okay, so what I decided to do then was just to kind of try a whole bunch of different settings with the MPM to see what would work for a tree. And I tried all the defaults and none of them really worked the way that I expected. There were some that were close, and eventually after playing around with some settings and getting something working, I ended up with this one, which I figured would be pretty cool to use. So now I'm going to take this and put it into my original simulation, run MOPS through everything so that when the land falls, the tree falls, and it looks awesome. So that did not work. The landslide worked as it is, and the tree kind of worked, but this tree looks proper sick. Not like in the cool sick, but like this tree needs help. It's super floppy, and what you don't see on this video that is like probably a minute long now is this actually took me a super long time because I ran the first simulation and forgot to put MOPS through this, so the tree just hovered in the middle of the sky, and then I ran another one and the tree got stuck and it just like tore apart. So eventually, and this is like, I don't know, several hours per simulation, when I eventually got this working, you can see that this tree does not quite look like a tree. Now, I'm no MPM expert, so I guess this has a lot to do with that and the fact that I have to figure out these settings a little bit more specifically. But I'm going to call this one a dead end for right now. I guess my dreams at Disney are shattered, but I have another idea, and this one is kind of bringing it back into my wheelhouse, into something that is maybe a little less out there and big and a little bit more simple, but still using the MPM solver and this landslide preset and doing something a lot more basic. So let's jump into Houdini and let me show you my idea. So what I'm thinking is, instead of doing something super big and like complex, let's just make something a lot more simple and harness the power of MPM and these cool clumps that this landslide preset gives us. We'll still use MOPS to kind of slowly erode it off over time, and we'll get this nice fall off. But what we want to do is just kind of make it simple so that it's a little bit easier to iterate, and maybe just use lighting and texturing to get something cool. So I think something like this actually looks pretty cool, and it's pretty simple and it's pretty basic. There are a few million points, and I think when we render this, this will look pretty good. So I actually like this. I think this is not exactly what I started out with and not the dreams and ambitions that I had when I set out on this project, but sometimes that's what happens in projects. You start somewhere and you end up somewhere completely different, and I kind of like that journey. As frustrating as it can be at times, I think that's part of the creative process, trying things, failing, and then ending up somewhere completely different. So if you like this video, you know what to do, and I will see you next time for another one.